So I'm here to tell you about EGS Solutions. We are a UK tech business. The company was actually founded in 1988 originally as a management consultancy, and we developed a software package out of the consultancy work. Initially we were giving it away free, and by 2001 it had become in demand. We started to charge for it and we became a software business. And then we listed on AIM in about 2005. Building on the consultancy roots, we used those consultancy practices to develop an implementation methodology that enables us to implement our software very quickly. So we can quickly deploy the software and deliver benefits to our clients. And we're a bit unusual in that as a software business, we stick around after the software has been installed. But we also guarantee the benefits that we will deliver to our customers as well. So we often don't get paid until those results get delivered, or there's some sort of part revenue share with the customer as well. So we really are all about putting our money where our mouth is with a software package that's tried, tested and proven and does what it says on the tin and works. We invented this market space. We were the pioneer in it. It's called workforce optimisation for the back office, and I'll explain to you what that means in a minute. But when you invent a product and you invent a market space, the road is a little bit bumpy while you're trying to get market awareness and to create a market in which you can sell that product. Happily, in 2012, it started to be recognised by analysts. By analysts, I mean the likes of Gartner, the industry analysts. All the big companies that we sell to rely on analyst feedback to decide whether they're actually going to do things. So when you hear presenters say, and Gartner likes us, and the analyst likes us, what it means is all the big firms who they're trying to sell to will be going to Gartner, and Gartner will be saying to them, you should buy this product or you shouldn't buy this product, as the case may be. So it's great that they do recognise that there's a market, and they're saying that it's got a large potential. So potential market size for our product is $3 billion. We ourselves have probably the biggest deployed footprint of this type of solution. We have now got competition. I'll tell you a bit about that as we go through the presentation. You need competitors also in order to make a market, so that's very helpful to have. But our big footprint is with major household brands. Hopefully my client slide is in this version of the deck. We normally take it out for the one that gets published because we're not allowed to publish a number of the names, but I can show you tonight, so hopefully the slide is actually in here. But there's 60 brands that you would know, and there's 60 brands in the service sector. And they are organisations that you will be trying to deal with and probably getting frustrated with, and I'll explain what I mean by that as we go through the deck. We've now sold and have deployed 130,000 licenses throughout the world. We built a mobile product and launched that last year. We've got Facebook game and a lot of what's called gamification built into our product, which is what all the young people coming into the workplace want to see as the basis for their technology. And probably 2012 was defining for us in another way as well, as you'll see when we get into the slides. We launched our hosting SaaS product. So for many years we were selling perpetual licenses one time. Every time you got a sale, you felt great, but it was a bit like a suntan because the next day you've got to go out and get another one. And the next year you've got to start from scratch. But with SaaS revenue, it's building all the time. And you get that nice recurring annuity revenue that is adding to shareholder value and also giving us lots of visibility moving forward as well. So we launched our cloud product in 2012 as well, and you'll be able to see the difference that that's made to our fortunes since that time. So what is actually workforce optimization? What is it that we're selling? I mentioned earlier we developed a software package out of the consultancy services. So we started as a consultancy and developed a bit of software. We now sell software and we offer a consultancy implementation package. That package is 20 weeks to actually deploy the software and deliver the guaranteed benefits, which is pretty rapid for most software deployments. The software does what it says on the tin, as I mentioned before. We can switch it on and all of the functionality is there. A lot of software vendors sell something to a customer and then they have to go rapidly and build the thing to make it do what they've sold in the sales process. Ours just does what it does because we've been doing it for quite a long time. The implementation methodology, is built on best practice operations management disciplines. So we're actually delivering to the customer 2 products. One is the software and the other is the skills for their people to use that software to deliver the benefits. And that's the bit that they actually like. And it's the thing that the client staff like because the benefits are actually delivered by having the same people doing more work or less people doing the same work. So same people doing more work, that's right, or less people doing the same work, which effectively means we're affecting jobs. And e.g., 1 or 2 clients has actually stood for everyone goes, because if there's not a lot of work, then we don't need a lot of people, so we've got a great benefit. But we want those staff to understand what it is that we're actually selling and to learn from it and build their skills as operations managers. So we have a benefit to the organisation and to the people as well. So what is workforce optimisation? It's actually the opposite way around. It's optimising the workforce. You're paying for a number of people to work for you. How do you know that you're using all of the time that they are at work to the best advantage for the organisation? How much time of that is spent in meetings? How much time of it is spent talking at the coffee machine, playing on Facebook? Not necessarily doing the core job that you've hired those people to do. So we're optimising that workforce. The call centre industry started doing workforce optimisation in 1985, and it was very much about chaining people to the desks literally with a headset and making sure that those people did as many calls as possible, as quickly as possible, and in the shortest time possible. And they didn't really care about the service that we receive on the other end. So the people were all encouraged to do things as quickly as possible. I think it's probably called the modern day sweatshop. We wanted to approach this from a different point of view. Our origins and where I came from were from production management in industry. And in industry, the production line dictates the speed at which the process can go and the people that are actually needed where. So we do things a little bit differently. Yes, we have that functionality to be able to make sure people are doing the right amount of work at the right time. But more importantly, we understand the processes and the end-to-end journey that these processes have to go on. And we combine the two together in a single package. And I'll explain a little bit more about that on the next slide. But the combination of managing the work and managing the people delivers a great result anyway. Teaching the people how to use it to deliver an even better result is what delivers the guarantee. And typically, and it would be very unusual if we didn't, we would be delivering to the customer between 20 and 40% at least productivity improvement in 12 to 20 weeks. That's the sort of result that we actually deliver. So we are genuinely transforming back office operations. A lot of our customers use our product because they don't really know what is going on in these areas. And it's a bit of a discovery for them to get control before they go on to do some other sort of re-engineering type of project. But at the same time, it's delivering a great benefit to them and teaching their people some great skills as well. So we talked about what is it actually doing, managing the people and the work. Why is this actually needed? Particularly if there's a call centre product that's doing what it does in call centres and has been doing that since 1985 and been doing it well. Well, call centre work is generally very simplistic. It's one and done type activity, answer the phone, deal with it over the phone, put the phone down, maybe a little follow-up activity afterwards. But the complex processes, the stuff that really matters to you and I is done somewhere else, and it's done behind that front line, and that's called the back office. So for years, the sort of organisations that we work for, they've been trying to get rid of this work at the back. And they've done absolutely everything they can to eliminate it. So the first thing that they did was try to invest in technology to implement straight-through processing and automate it and get rid of it. The second thing they tried to do was then offshore it to India, get rid of it to India, and so it's out of the way and we don't have to worry about it. But the crash and improved compliance actually has insisted that organisations face up to this and manage it well and have complete transparency of what's going on, within their processes in these areas. So it's come back onshore. Of course, now we have robotics. They're trying to automate the hell out of it again. And you can say whether you like robotics or not, but for most of our customers that are using it, they're not yet seeing a great deal of change in the number of people that they need to work in these areas. So as long as you have a number of people needing to process complex processing work, we have a market, and that's where we target. What defines these areas? They are complex processes in that they are multiple stages. They may take place over days, weeks, months, sometimes years. They will have many different inputs at the beginning and all the way through that process. They'll have many different people involved in processing them, and they will cut across many different systems. Any or all of those features combine to create a very happy circumstance for us to sell our product into. What sort of processes we're talking about? You and I all know what it feels like to apply for a mortgage. It's painful. Not just the house side of it and the solicitor side of it, but actually getting the mortgage process through. It may surprise you to know that there's actually only 7 hours of work content in processing that mortgage. But I guess many of us sitting in this room will know that it's probably taken 8 to 10 weeks to get that through the process. And it's that disjointed, fragmented, multiple stage, emotional process where we want action now and we're not getting it. That's where we like to help, because we can chunk that down, make it faster, use less resource to deliver it, deliver a great service to you. The boxes at the bottom of the slide actually show the functionality of our product and what it's actually doing. And it's a bit like the automatic call distributor in the call centre. In the call centre, they capture all the calls together and then squirt them out to the agents with the skills and the availability to take that call. We're doing the same with this complex processing work, but all of these multiple stages are all stored in our system, and then we squirt them out, make sure that they get done in the right order. And at the same time, we're forecasting how many resources are needed. We're capturing all of the work to make sure it gets allocated and dealt with, and nothing gets left and hidden in a drawer or ignored because it's a sticky case and we don't like it. We make sure that that end-to-end process is delivered in the right time scale, and all of the quality and the compliance happens along the way too. And then lastly, we provide analytics like you would not believe in real time about what's actually going on in these areas. So that the idea of a historical report that's produced in the middle of next month to tell us how we did last month is just anathema. We just don't have that. It's all available at your fingertips here and now. 3 core products within the software suite. The real-time work management piece that's shown in the centre here, that's the bit that is the clever bit that's actually managing these multiple stage processes and capacity planning in real time for the people on the coalface. That's the real USP. Forecasting and planning, lots of customers use spreadsheets still to this day, but we have our own module. That's where the call centre products actually play. And then a lot of clients have business intelligence, but we have got all of that raw data about what's happening in operations. So we have our own solution to be able to cascade that out and feed that to the organisation. And then a connector suite that enables us to go into an organisation that's already spent millions on lots of different legacy systems and connect them all together. So from the user perspective, I can rock up into my office, switch on a screen, and there's a My Work screen that says, this is what you need to do. And I haven't got to worry about all those horrible green screens or the emails that are coming from over there. I've just got one screen that's feeding me what is the next things that I need to do. I actually need that myself because my desk looks horrendous actually at the minute. So what about us as a business then? That's what we do. Us as a business, we have a fantastic product. We've got a great client list. We have a fantastic deployment model that works every time. We don't need to re-engineer any of those things. We have no more proving to do in that respect, really. What we need to do is grow our business, increase our distribution, and the strategy that we're pursuing are these purple boxes in the middle. Ignoring the acquisition one at the moment because we're not happy with where our share price is, and it's not necessarily going to be great value for shareholders if we start diluting with acquisitions. So we're just holding that one. But new business, obviously winning new names, very important. Looking after our existing clients. When we win a client, we've got 8-year revenue stream with them. So there's not just the annuity revenue from the hosting, but there's also additional things that we can sell along the way. That recurring revenue is that annuity revenue. We need to look after that, and we have a 98% retention level on our recurring revenue. And then distributing through partners. A small business in the UK, we're now selling lots globally. We can't do it all ourselves, so partner distribution is very important to us. So what I'm showing you here is our from our annual results deck, which were published in March. We did a bit of an update around our AGM statement in May. Our half year is coming up at the end of July. There's no new news in the marketplace for me to be able to share with you other than what's here and what was in those announcements, so I thought I'd stick with this really. I think the key point is that we had lots of contract wins, and I'll show you, we had lots of contract wins in that in the last financial year, something like 12 new customers that we actually signed from 3 different areas, from the existing business, from the new business, but also from the partner business. We signed 3 new partners who are distributing our products for us, and EXL is a business process outsourcer, similar to Capita, but they've got 8,000 people worldwide. They're using the tool themselves and they're selling it to their customers as well. We have an EXL branded version for them. International and partner business up 37% from the 24% it was the year before. And that order book, that backlog, that contracted backlog, if you like, contracts where we've got the signature, it's ours, but we haven't yet invoiced it, was up to 18.5 million. And we got 4 new customers for our mobile product, and they're actually being deployed in this financial year. You'll see when we get to the financial slide, we had a massive difference between H1 and H2 last year and grew 128% in the second half. That was actually phenomenal growth, and our people were squealing with the amount of work that they had to do. But we still managed to retain our Best Companies Award, and we're an outstanding employer as well, which is really important to us to retain. And I think I was really grateful that we did because of the amount of work that people had to do. Happily, that momentum has continued. So in the trading update we put out with the AGM statement, we mentioned that we had already contracted the same revenue as we did last financial year. And we have clear visibility of how we will achieve our market expectations for this financial year. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to be sitting around with our feet on the desk coasting, because we've got a lot of it in the bag already. We're backfilling and catching up with the organisational and infrastructure growth that we should have done in the last half of last year to cope with the growth that we're actually doing on an ongoing basis. So this order book, as you can see how it's been growing on an annual basis, about 31% compound annual growth, up to 18.5 million as at 31st of January, grows all the time with every SaaS deal that we sell. And how that plays out is roughly equally, that backlog gets invoiced and we collect the invoices roughly equally over the subsequent 4 years. And then we add on the in-year revenue. So when we said to the market in our trading update, we've already done last year's revenue, we were obviously there for this current financial year. Why these dates look odd is our financial year end is the 31st of January. So our full year results for this year will actually be finished by the 31st of January 2018. So that's what our broker forecast is. That's where we were as at the AGM statement. So you can see the difference that growing revenue, growing annuity revenue is actually making to our financial performance. And demand is continuing also, and the demand is continuing largely driven by people like you, because what you're demanding from organisations is you want things quickly. You don't want to wait 2 weeks anymore to get a letter. You want to be able to send an email and get a response virtually straight away, but at least next day at the best. At the worst, sorry. You don't want to be waiting for that. We've got demand from you as employees as well, those of you who are still in work. You want to be able to work more flexibly. You want the same solutions that you use at home, at work. You don't want all this green screen type stuff. There's lots of compliance going on. We want our business, the organisations who we deal with, to be safe and secure. So that compliance is putting a lot of pressure on organisations as well. And we still need to improve productivity. So all of these demands are fueling the need for our solution, which is fantastic news for us. We've got a bit of competition, as I mentioned before. These are the workforce management vendors here. They're 850 million NASDAQ listed workforce management vendors selling to contact centres, now trying to sell into the back office. They have used a lot of the materials that we have done for our marketing for their own. So they're creating demand, because when organisations want to buy a solution, they're looking for a product like ours, which is great for us to sell into. And a lot of the clients want best of breed, and we are the best of breed in this sector. I mentioned our financials being a story of two halves last year, and that momentum continuing, and that 128% growth, as you can see. So that has continued, and you can imagine if you're doing that for 2 periods, that's how you get to the market expectation that we're actually looking at for this year. So in summary, in sort of current trade and an outlook really, what are we actually up to? Continuing to increase our sales channels, so we want more partners. Partners is something that we're concentrating on. We've staffed up to a partner manager to go out and find more partners. We have a team that look after the order book, and we're growing that all the time. The more of that we have, the more secure our fortunes are for our investors moving forward. Improving our margins, so you would have seen in 2 slides back what the margins actually looked like in that second half. That's what good business at EG actually looks like. And generate cash. We're very cash generative. Mostly drops through to my apron pocket, or Michael's apron pocket actually, because my CFO sat in the audience, but he does like to tell me what's in his apron pocket. So that's us. Anyway, that's EG. Thank you.
Sorry. Questions, anybody from the floor?
You mentioned this year the expansion was so great that your employees were squealing. Are you resource constrained for expansion in future years?
At this moment in time, yes, we are. Yes, we are. We are recruiting, but being in a semi-unique, although there's a market developing, it's still a little bit unique. So you can't hire people off the street that know how to do this. You've got to hire them in and train them. And because of the second half of last year was busy, and we were recruiting, but we couldn't recruit fast enough at the same time as delivering for customers, and so we've got a bit of catching up to do.
Anybody else?
Do you have in-house IT development, or do you outsource that?
No, I would not outsource my development at all, actually. We have UK and Czech Republic development team. Having said I don't outsource it, they are actually a separate firm, but they're wholly retained by us. So the Czech people actually do some of our development, but most of our development is done in the UK. So we have got, it's not really an outsourced function, it's like a retained company, like a joint venture where they actually do the development work for us. But we don't outsource it.
It's a separate company,
The people in Czech Republic are, yeah, there's about, is it 6 of them, Michael? Something like 6 of them in the Czech Republic who are part of a separate business, but they're wholly retained by us. Just a different recruitment model nowadays. You've got all sorts of different ways that you hire people. Thank you.
Hi, you mentioned you're best of breed within your market. What are you doing to stay in that position?
Stay ahead. Investment in R&D. So it's approximately £1 million worth of R&D. £1.5 million isn't it? Spent every year on R&D. We were the first business with the full product on cloud. We were the first business with the full product on mobile. So as long as I think when you're a small player competing with big players, you've got to have best product, be agile, deliver the best results, have the best reputation. Those are the things that we actually do to stay ahead and be domain experts.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Any more questions? I've got one. It's not a tricky one.
It's all right. I would miss it if you didn't.
I think you were in the business, then you took a bit of a back seat and you came back in again, is that right?
Yeah.
And I think you can see from the figures, and obviously with your CFO as well, it's transforming the business again.
Yes.
What is your exit strategy, and what's the exit strategy for the business? Is it likely to be a trade sale, do you think? Have you got any plans or thoughts?
You mean I'm getting old? Is that what you mean?
Well, no,
Well, I am actually.
But you've come
I'm
back and
only
obviously
20, I'm
you
just
come back
looking
and
at
obviously and
Yeah.
you have to have a plan for the business itself. You know, where you aspire for the business to be in 2, 3, 4, 5 years'
Yes.
time.
I mean, obviously, investors, never mind myself, investors go into a business with a view to what is the exit so that they can realise their investment. So at some point, I would imagine trade sale will probably be the natural route for us. And that's why it's very helpful to have competitors come into the marketplace, because potentially they could be, that exit strategy. But all of us, we love what we do. We love what we do for our customers. We love what we do as a business. We love working together, etc. So I don't think any of us are looking to retire or anything like that. Actually, one person might be, but he's our company secretary, and he keeps saying, I'm going to retire next year, and he never does. So I keep him too busy, really. He hasn't
Otherwise,
got
you're
time
in for the medium haul anyway.
Yeah. He hasn't got time to think about retiring.
Thank you very much, Lisa.
Thank you.
Thanks.